All 98.7, it's Harms. You'll definitely recognize the guys sitting with me right now. We have Mark Hoppus, Travis Barker, Blink-182.
Hello.
Question number one.
Yeah.
Matt Skiba.
We have no idea where Matt is this morning. He was supposed to be with us about 2 hours ago, right?
Yeah, my vote, my guess is he's sleeping.
Yeah. What's your vote?
Sleeping for sure.
Sleeping?
It's before, when we rehearse, the way that we rehearse for this upcoming tour is that we have to hit the sweet spot in time between when Matt is actually awake and ready for the day to start, and Travis and I are kind of at the ends of our days or well through our days. His schedule starts at about, I don't know, noon, seems like.
It's a delicate dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a fun, exciting spring to be a Blink-182 fan. There's a lot of good information out there as far as new music, about potential albums, about a tour. Today, we got a piece of information where people are probably watching this video on different days than actually today, but we found out about a secret show happening in Los Angeles today. I know a lot about this show. I don't want to spill too many beans. What are we allowed to know about this secret show?
This is going to be the preview to the entire tour. We're going to have all the production. This is basically a friends and family show. What we normally do is before we leave to go out on a tour, just to make sure everything's working, we'll play a show. It's kind of a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
And you invite people to come to that. And we're inviting fans of 98.7 to come and enjoy the friends and family show. And nobody knows where it is, and you will get to see it before anybody else.
Is this the sort of thing where if somebody makes a mistake, you stop and you check and you talk to the lighting guy, or is this full dress rehearsal, just no holds barred, go?
Hopefully we won't have to stop things, but it might.
Okay.
But hopefully by this point, when we're running the show and people are there and it's the friends and family show, that we will be well enough into the rehearsals that things run flawlessly.
Yes.
Although, has that ever happened?
I mean, that's what we spend all week kind of like, working, like troubleshooting, like all the stuff that's kind of like not quite there yet. And then friends and family, knock on wood, you hope that it's just everything's smooth.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Travis, this time last year was kind of the start, at least the start of us hearing about some of your health problems. I want to ask how you were feeling kind of before anything. You doing okay?
Yeah, I feel great. I mean, I'm going on tour. I still have like, my back got really messed up in the car crash I got in.
Mm-hmm.
But that's usually what happens when you get hit by a school bus.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, I have no complaints. Like I'm always getting injured though.
Mm-hmm.
I just broke my ankle about a month ago, but I'm running again, and yeah.
Dude,
I luckily heal really quick.
Yeah, no kidding.
Knock on wood. But yeah, everything's great. I'm excited to go out on tour. Excited to play shows. Excited for the album to come out.
You look great for a guy that got hit by a school bus.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. A couple weeks ago, we got Blame It On My Youth, brand new song.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you guys have been very open about the fact that this is one of many, 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 many new Blink songs. What's the latest you can tell us about this album, about kind of this new batch of songs?
We started writing the album probably a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. Kind of just getting in the studio, throwing some ideas around. I feel like probably 4 or 5 months ago, we really started picking up the pace and finding our feet on this record. So we keep writing more and more songs, and the songs keep getting better and better. Originally, I thought that we were going to have an album out in June, but we keep adding more songs, so probably later on in the summer.
Are the other songs throwaway songs at this point? Are they things that will come out? It's very in vogue in 2019 to do like the double album or one album now. Oh, yeah, a lot of bands. Foles has done it.
There's a band. There's one band.
There's other bands.
Okay.
Wait. Who else has done the double? Oh, now I've forgotten. But
Pink Floyd has done it.
Who just did the double album?
Foles and
It's just funny because I'm going to watch this and I'm going to have a list of like 17 bands that have done it. And,
I would say that there are no throwaway songs. I think songs that are like throwaway songs get thrown away early in the process. There are probably some songs that we will be okay not seeing the light of day, but a lot that will eventually see the light of day on a deluxe album or something like that.
The 1975 did it.
Okay.
There's a second.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're going to be texting me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought of another one.
So, good problem to have. There are a lot of songs. You guys are, continually writing, continually getting better and better songs, and that's why you're waiting for this record to come out. Awesome. There's obviously a tour happening this summer.
Yes.
Will these new songs or any other new songs make their way out onto the tour?
Absolutely. There are before we leave for tour, there are at least 2 more songs coming out. And then as more songs get released, we'll probably incorporate those into the set.
Awesome.
Generally, we don't like to play songs that aren't out in the world yet, because when I especially go to a set, a show, I want to sing along.
Sure.
And when a band's like, oh, here's a new song that you haven't heard yet, people are kind of like interested, but it kind of craters the whole set, because everyone stops and listens, and people just want to go and sing along and rock out and have fun.
We have to deal with that world also with people in their phones and putting the new songs that aren't quite in their finished form up on the internet. Is that something that concerns you at all, or is that less of a worry?
I think the being worried about people posting stuff on their phones is probably 10 years too late. It's just a part of life now. If something's out there, people are going to post it, and we used to kind of fight against it and be like, we want people to be in the moment and not post stuff online, but then these people are having such a good time. They're basically ambassadors for your band, posting stuff online.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A big part of these shows will also be this 20th anniversary of Enema of the State celebration. Knowing now what you know about that album, did it feel as big at the time as it feels now? Like when you were in that moment in 1999, did you look around and just go like, what is going on with this record?
It felt kind of fresh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because we were just playing Cheshire Cat and Dude Ranch. When we made that album, it was just different. It was like we kicked open like the walls of this box even bigger, and we're allowed to do more stuff, experiment with more tempos, more style songs. So it felt like it was either going to be something really massive or people were going to scratch their head.
Could you feel at the time that the band had kind of jumped a level?
Yes, absolutely. Coming off of Dude Ranch, which was a huge success for what Blink-182 was at that time, being with a major label, having a song on the radio. But then when Travis joined the band, he brought an element that didn't exist really before. And I think that Tom and I wanted to write different styles of songs than we had been.
Yeah.
And when I would show an idea to Travis, or we'd show an idea to Travis, he would take a song to a completely different place rhythmically and have different ideas for breaks, and a song like Dysentery Gary, which probably would have just been kind of a average Blink-182 song with an opening riff, and then it's kind of silly lyrics or whatever, but Travis threw in, like, he turned the beat around in the beginning of the song, and then there's like these little, salsa? Would you call them salsa?
Yeah, there's like
Latin-influenced?
a bossa nova in the middle of it.
In the middle of it, and so it wasn't just a straightforward pop punk thing anymore. It started to move beyond that, and that was exciting for us.
Yeah.
And I felt like I feel like Enema of the State is where Blink really found ourselves, and having Travis join the band and working with Jerry Finn really just brought an incredible focus to what we were doing. Whereas before we just wanted to play loud and make a bunch of noise and be silly. Now we wanted to do all that, but also play well and write good music.
Sure. You've already done the entire thing once at Back to the Beach. How was that?
It's great.
Yeah.
Super fun.
It was fun. Was that kind of like the litmus test on whether or not you would do it for the summer? Was that like you're testing it out to make sure you wanted to do it, or had that decision already been made?
We hadn't decided at that point, but I think the reaction to that was like, oh, we should actually maybe do this as a... We had originally talked about doing just a series of shows kind of around Los Angeles and Southern California, maybe up to San Francisco. And then when this tour got booked, we were like, well, maybe we should just do it for the entire tour as well as playing the new stuff and the hits. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's a funny time for this band because there's the element of nostalgia with Enema of the State. But again, I've always viewed you guys as very forward-thinking, very kind of what are we going to do next. So you also have this batch of new songs. Do you lean a certain way where you're kind of more excited to do the Enema of the State stuff or to work on the new material?
I mean, both. We've been touring, not the same set list, but very similar songs for years. So the fact... it's going to happen one time. It's the 20-year anniversary of Enema right now. So right now is like the time to do it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And that album is like fast and up-tempo and kind of wild, you know? And then obviously making like a new album, which I think is some of our best work ever, that will, start to play as the tour, when it comes out while we're on tour.
Sure.
Somehow it feels, I don't know, also, right now, Enema of the State feels as vital now as it did back then. I don't know if it's just a cyclical thing and what's happening in music right now, and a lot of artists are coming up saying that album influenced them, and so I don't know. It's this feedback loop right now that's really, I don't know. It's an honor to be part of.
Prior to rehearsals for Back to the Beach, when was the last time you listened to Enema of the State? Had it been a while?
I rarely, once we finish an album, I'll rarely go back and listen to it. I might go back and listen to a few songs here and there, but I don't think that I've listened to the entirety of Enema of the State in 15 years.
Yeah, same. It was more like, oh shit, what's on this album?
Yeah.
And how much of it do we already play? How
Sure.
much do we not play?
Yeah.
But then once we did it, for me, it just felt fresh, and it was like, I don't know. It's like that moment in time. It's really dope.
Good. Sometimes, and I don't know, with something so successful, I guess this could not be the case, but sometimes people look back at their old work and are a little bit just embarrassed. Like they take into account where they are right now, and then they look back 20 years ago and they're like, oh, what were we doing? Or, oh, I can't believe we got away with that. Seems like you guys are proud and excited about what Enema of the State was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Enema of the State, I stand by entirely. I mean, there's, plenty of stuff that I listen back to or things that I, not necessarily on that record, but I'm like, some of the earlier recordings when we couldn't afford time in the studio and things like that, and we were rushed and we didn't have all the tools available to us, kind of feel like those junior high photos that your parents still have at their house where you're like, oh my God, that was an awkward stage for me. But not on Enema of the State. I feel like that record was a special moment in time.
Well, yeah, you had to go through all of that early stuff to get to Enema of the State.
Yeah.
You earned it, is what you did. You earned the success of that album. Back to the new song, just real quick. There have been some words that you have used to describe it. I just want to see if this is still the case.
Okay.
Dark. Would you still call these songs darker?
I wouldn't. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I feel like all Blink songs are kind of dark, but then melodic at the same time. No, I wouldn't say dark, but we interrupted you after dark.
No,
So
that's
go ahead.
perfect.
No, I think that when we first started writing the songs to this record, largely they were, I don't know, a little more aggressive and dark lyrically. But that was like, probably the first 7 songs we wrote kind of felt like that. And then we kind of turned a corner about 5 months ago, like I was saying.
Sure. Experimental.
Yeah, well, those first songs too, I think we we weren't even writing for an album. We were just getting in the studio, and we had written maybe a dozen songs, and we were like, okay, this is not what we want the album to sound like.
Gotcha. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like we got them out of our system, but we're like, that ain't it. Like, we definitely want to do something different, and we've already done that, and we hate repeating ourselves.
Cool. Yeah. Experimental, is that something that you would still kind of use to qualify these songs or describe these songs?
I think yeah. We definitely approach the songwriting on a lot of this record from a completely different standpoint rather than just picking up an acoustic guitar and coming up with a chord progression and a little part and then writing over that. I mean, we were writing over beats that Travis had come up with, or I don't know, just a piano line or a keyboard part, not necessarily starting on guitar. Really embracing, really embracing new production techniques, modern song sensibilities.
Yep.
I would say probably more modern techniques experimentation than like I don't know. And we got into weird sounds and stuff.
Yeah, there's both. Like, there's there's blast beats. There's like 3 blast beats on the album, which have never been in a Blink album.
Sure.
But then there's, some songs like started from beats that I had. Some songs have like dirty 808s in them. Some of them are, I don't know. Some of them are more traditional Blink. Like, it's kind of, I think it's the first time for me personally that the band isn't disconnected from what music I'm listening to.
Okay.
Like, or what popular music is.
Sure.
And I feel like it's the first time those both worlds have met.
That's
you
cool.
know?
So there's
Yeah.
more of an influence. Would you say there's an influence from the other projects that you guys do? Everybody's busy outside of Blink.
Not really. I mean, like, I'm not making rap songs on a
course.
Blink
Yeah,
album.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
sure.
But,
No, I don't think. I think that people take the creative ideas that they have outside of Blink and bring back that knowledge and that tool set to Blink. It's not so much like, oh, I wrote this song, I want Blink to sound like this. It's like, oh, what we did in this one song is we took this drum loop and we ran it through this, and then we put this effect on it, and it made this happen.
Okay.
And so it might be more production techniques than like, oh, we need to write a song that sounds like a rap song, or we need to write a song that sounds like whatever.
Sure. Who's producing? Or do you have a series of producers? Who's helped
A
you out?
lot of different people.
Yeah.
We got Tim Pagnotta from Sugar Cult on a couple songs, Sam Hollander, John Feldman worked on a bunch of the stuff. Who else? Andrew Watt.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
I thought we had some more.
That's a good
We
list.
worked with a lot of different people that maybe those songs aren't going to make the record.
Yeah.
But we've gotten in the studio with a lot of different creative people, and it's been a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what. When this interview is over, I'm going to put a graphic up on the video, and everyone in the last year that's released a double album, I'm going to put that on there. And then if you want to add another graphic that everyone that helped produce the records, we can just revisit that information after the fact. That's exactly what we'll do. Fellas, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Again, like I said at the very beginning of the conversation, it's just a super exciting time. I'm sure to be in Blink-182, but also to be a Blink fan with the new music, with the celebration of Enema of the State, and with, again, the secret show happening here in L.A. on June 20th. Dude, we're stoked.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
It is Mark and it's Travis, Blink-182 here on Alt 98.7. Here's all the double albums that came out in the last year.
Here's all the producers on our record.